Believe it or not, living in my car gave me new hope, new inspiration. I woke up in my mid-30s and I was kind of looking for a new direction in life to re-inspire me. Like a midlife crisis, but I didn't go through any devastating divorce. I didn't go through any life-changing event. In my early 30s, I had a little bit of a health scare. I had the passing of my dog. So there was like this moment in time where I had a void to fill. A dog didn't take up my time anymore. I didn't really enjoy being a homebody anymore and just like eating and watching TV. And so I was searching, okay? And you always have to start with searching. And it starts with searching inside you, to see what motivates you, and that's a self-discovery journey. But long story shorter, as I start to take you through the process of how something like living in your car, which is almost a destitute lifestyle for some people, is also a huge inspiration for other people. When I grew up, I was similar to many other people in the world. Living in your car was like looked down upon. For me, even now, it's like weird. I live in my car, I have for 4 years, but if someone, I think about the other side of the fence, right? Like if someone were to tell me, yeah, I'm getting ready to sell my house and live in my car, I would probably look at them crazy. So it's an interesting thing, but what really kind of makes it not a destitute lifestyle is those who have effectively communicated the difference between kind of being destitute and a nomad, the difference between being homeless and an RVer. Having a vehicle as a home, whether you convert your car or whether you have an official RV, which has all the amenities of a home, learning the basic essentials of survival and how a home, a shelter, is really just something to keep the elements of the weather off you. Learning that wheels are the greatest human invention. The greatest human invention is the wheel. It allows you mobility. And when you start to look at what a car, what an RV, and what the mobile lifestyle is and can offer to someone who wants to reset their life, live a more minimalistic, simple life with expenses, you want to minimize your expenses and you also want to maximize your adventure. And the mobile life gives many people that unique opportunity where you don't have to be a millionaire, or you can strive to be a millionaire, mitigate your liabilities, live in your car, and try to do some creative venture. The mobile lifestyle provides a lot of options. The conforming life, a house or an apartment, there's not much option. Of course you could work your way up. Of course, some people like taking care of their house, but it's a routine life with not a lot of imagination, okay? Because there's something to be said when, you anchor yourself in a house. It's stability which has value, but the mind is anchored as well as your finances and your logistics. And what I've learned in this nomadic life is even when I stay in one area for a long period of time, my mind is still free. My, capacity to imagine, to venture out, to plan new ways to live is still there because I'm very low commitment and very maximum flexibility. And so this renewed way of looking at living in a car RV, when I was looking on YouTube years ago and I was just thinking about downsizing. Because from my standpoint, I wasn't thinking about living in a car. I was just thinking about downsizing so I can really refocus my life and start to figure out what my next step is. When you're trying to reposition your life, the first step is to downsize so you can have a clearer focus. Because your things, your belongings, and your obligations, they weigh you down and they distract you from focusing on what's inside you. And so I was like, well, let me just start downsizing. And then as I was downsizing, I did that before I started, because I knew that had to be done. Then I started to look online and I saw travelers, I saw tiny homes. I don't like tiny homes because they don't really have the wheels and the mobility of a car RV. a friend of mine recommended looking at RVs, and I had never really looked into that culture. I didn't grow up camping. And looking at that, and then I progressively saw people living in their cars or vans, and then just a whole new world opened up to me in my mind. And I saw how I could take my life back. I can reinvent myself. I can take charge of my life through very simple living. Simple living provides inspiration because it gives you more control of your life. And there's nothing more inspired than being empowered. There's nothing better than feeling empowered. It builds confidence. It builds risk-taking, and you have to take some risks. And you're able to take risks when you live simple because you don't have a lot of liabilities. And this new way of living, this nomadic life, living in your car, RV, it just gave me a renewed hope. It still does, even today, even 4 years later, after I sold my house and I've been living in my car, I still get inspired. I still have bad days. No life is perfect. There's dangers on the road. The elderly, the handicapped may struggle more. So not for everyone. I don't try to oversell you. But if you can downsize, if you can look at living in your car, living in an RV a different way, if you can discipline yourself to remember what the conforming life was versus, because the biggest hurdle when you're in the nomadic life, it's a hurdle to get there. But then when you get there, the biggest hurdle is thinking that if I go back to the static life, that will fill a void, that will inspire me again. But I have 15 years of experience, and most people growing up, you grew up in a house or an apartment, you know what it's like to live the conforming life. So every time you're tempted to go back to a conforming life, remember what you're not missing. You're really not missing a level of inspiration. It's really just stability. So do you want more stability, or do you just need to discipline your mind? Because you have to discipline your mind and your emotions. To live a good life, you have to learn to discipline the mind and the emotions, or else they'll take you on a roller coaster. The most deceptive thing is the heart. Don't follow the heart, because the Bible says the most deceptive thing is the heart. Okay. So, your spirit is guiding you, your instincts, your insight, but you have to match that with wisdom. Let wisdom guide you. Let your spirit, let your gut kind of also guide you, but balance the two. Okay. Don't just go making emotional decisions, because that's not inspiration, that's emotion. Big difference. Inspiration is your gut instincts with wisdom, with an extreme amount of focus and discipline. And as you have that unified spirit focused, you can see what's next in your life. And faith is taking the first step without seeing the entire staircase. And wisdom will keep you from going too far on the risk spectrum and having major catastrophes. Your savings account is wisdom. Okay. Downsizing first is wisdom. Not buying too big of an RV is wisdom. Not changing your vehicle every couple years is wisdom. Keeping a job is wisdom. Selling your house is risky. Living in your car, a little risky. Living in your RV, maybe something. So, but you got to take risks. You got to balance the two. You got to get inspired. And I'm still inspired. I'm juiced up telling you the story. I hope my videos help you. I hope they give you insight, information, inspiration, motivation, but without overselling you. Just honestly sharing my soul. If they help, thank you for clicking a thumbs up. Thank you to my members. If you'd like to be a member, click the blue join button. You get unlimited access to all my live chats I do every day on this channel. Thank you. Check out my playlist also. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.